Welcome back to Metropole Television. We apologize. We will not be joined by George Munga and Kiari just because of time this morning. We did experience some short technical hitch. All right, let's continue this morning where data now shows that Kenya has 3.7 million idle youth. Now, these numbers come at a time when Kenyans have seen 1.7 million jobs wide off the economy as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, now this morning we are joined by one guest that I'm going to introduce for you this morning, joined by Maureen Chepkoech. Good morning, Maureen. Can you get me?
Yes, I can get you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. How are you doing this morning? Let's begin from there.
Doing well. It looks like it's going to be a bit sunny today, so it's not that cool.
Fantastic. I mean, somebody would ask you, therefore, I mean, when we look at these numbers this morning, how do we interpret them in relation to a government promising you that we stand for the youth and we want the youth to be involved in our agenda?
Could you repeat that again?
So the question is, when you look at these numbers that are 3.7 million idle youth, and you already have COVID-19 wiping up off another 1.7 million jobs from the economy, I mean, how do you interpret them, Maureen, this morning within a government that is telling you, well, we are working for the youth agenda? Have they failed?
Well, if I got your question correctly, if the numbers show a loss in more in terms of job creation for the government.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So I think where we can start with that is defining what is the role of government. So the government does not create job opportunities. The government has three major roles to play in order to create a conducive environment that spurs job creation. That being security, sound policy, legislation, and infrastructure that supports the private sector to create job opportunities, despite the fact that government accounts for the largest employer with slightly over 800,000 civil servants. And as of 2018, the wage bill accounted for 55% of the $12.5 billion ordinary revenue collected in the financial year and ended June 2018. We lose the plot when we think it's the government's responsibility to create jobs. Its biggest role is to offer citizens services.
Yes, Maureen, but somebody's going to tell you, yes, but the economy has to be right for it to start creating jobs. But that hasn't been the feeling since 2019, since we started talking about, well, a depressed economic environment for even the smaller business to operate and offer jobs to these youth that we're talking about this morning.
Yes, I can agree on that in the extent of it has not exactly fulfilled the mandate of creating an enabling right, or for people to be able to take jobs. However, I feel like we should take upon ourselves and task even the private institutions to come in and uplift that aspect. Because at the end of the day, depending on a given institution that doesn't have a face, because government doesn't have a face, it will be more of a no cause to fight. But it doesn't also exempt them from the aspect of their failed in terms of creating that enabling environment for jobs to be created.
Yes, Maureen, as somebody, maybe we should start from this and therefore, I mean, the COVID-19 pandemic has come within the economy. We've seen exactly the massive disruption that is caused. What is it the Kenyan youth need now within this pandemic? Because yes, we're only talking about 3.7 million, but more are coming soon and more are coming out of universities now. What is the Kenyan youth right now in terms of government agenda, Maureen?
Okay, I can say for most of these job losses have been occasioned by the COVID pandemic, and I believe your question is, can the government programs have put in place a buffer for the youth?
Yes.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's an egg-chicken situation here. We came first with what came first. So I believe that COVID, is it COVID or unemployment? In fact, COVID has shown us it has shown us as young people that opportunities come from calamities. There have been unconventional jobs that have come up with the pandemic. So I don't think we can make a blanket conclusion that COVID has just created unemployment.
Yes, I mean, but somebody will tell you that it actually made the situation worse, Maureen. Wouldn't you say that?
Sorry, come again?
Somebody will tell you that yes, we were struggling with unemployment before, but then it made the situation worse.
Yeah, I can't personally say that it has made it worse. What I can say is it has brought light to what we've been covering up. That's what I can put it in my own opinion. That the pandemic has kind of brought out to light the challenges that we are facing and what are the gaps that we have not addressed. So that's what I can say about that.
All right, now let's talk about one area, I mean, from the government that was touted to be a magic bullet in terms of representing the youth and actually even creating these jobs that we're talking about this morning, devolution. Maureen, from where you're sitting this morning, has it worked from a youth perspective 10 years down the line?
I can say for the opportunities existing for the youth devolution and how we can rate it in 10 years on is many county governments have an aging workforce. With the introduction for county government, it means the opportunities have been multiplied by 47. So it's a question of where and when does this opportunity arise. As for the rating, let's give it another 2 years. Then we can do the rating. But currently we are doing badly. How badly the rates can show, I won't go into details on that.
Yes, so now the question is, Maureen, yes, I mean, we can't place it, it's neither here nor there, when we're talking about the youth situation in the country, but when somebody asks you now, because the situation is there, everybody does know that yes, we have a youthful population that accounts for 70% of our population, but then majority of them are the ones that have no hang on in terms of an economic environment. So where do we start from to fix it if we can't place it on the government?
I can say in terms of what approach should, let's start with government, that is, what approach should government take in job creation in the country is, recently the government made a shift from hiring of civil servants on permanent and pensionable terms. And instead, we now have new entries into the civil service hired on 3-year renewable contracts. This, in my opinion, creates a rotational approach to absorbing the many young people who enter the job market every year. And I see this as a possible solution in the long term.
All right. Any other thing that we can actually sort of say would be proper for the government to start on other than just the promise that, well, in the long term, they're going to have it. But we are dealing with a situation that is ongoing, Maureen, and everybody would ask you, but we need a solution for this. Talk to me, therefore, about the chance for the government to bring up the smaller businesses. I'm talking about the MSMEs within the economy that the youth can hang on. Do you think that we have made up progress on that?
Not really. I feel that as young people, we have not been effectively engaged and involved, especially when it comes to decision making. I feel like we've already fought enough to be at the table of decision making, but however, we're still not influencing the decisions that have been made that affect us.
So talk to me about this leadership approach that everybody keeps on talking about. I mean, yes, we say we need a leadership approach that is going to represent the youth. But what do you think is lacking? Why haven't we been represented properly in these bigger tables?
I believe you're asking, have the youth been presented properly in leadership in the country?
Yes.
This is work in progress. As the young people in leadership, we have resorted to negotiating, and it's more of we resorted to negotiations and not agitation. The president has promised as of 3 weeks ago to include more young people in government. Are we on the table? Yes. Are our voices influencing the decisions being made? No. Not as it should be. Again, this should be a case of ill-prepared young people who are given these chances, which in most cases take a political representation method may affect the competence required. So we still being political kind of being skewed into a particular direction that has been so deeply enrooted in our country that we're not able to give room to actually new ideas, new young people who are able to bring change, who are able to be given a chance to even show that experience in leadership.
Fantastic. Now, as we clear this morning, Maureen, therefore, just paint for me a picture. I mean, yes, you represent the youth agenda. To talk to me, is there light at the end of the tunnel? Because right now, it seems that the youth, especially the Kenyan youth, is in darkness. And what would sort of inform your opinion this morning?
I can say, yes, there's still hope, because I'll go into our first spiritual Bibinko way. Each and every day, it comes with its own challenges, but also it comes with its own blessings. And while we keep striving and also being aware of the rights, because I think that's one of the things that we feel as young people. We feel that these people in leadership, the quote-unquote people at the leadership position, are doing us a favor, as opposed to it's our right to those opportunities. It is our happening. It is our right to know how is the money spent. It is our right to also vie for leadership. It's our right to know what exactly are you bringing for us. Is it change that can improve us? Is it change that will destroy us? So we have the right to question, to also interrogate, and at the same time we also have the right to negotiate. So I can say in conclusion that yes, we do have hope. That brilliant young people in the different sectors and in the counties that we really need to tap into and give a platform for them to show how good they are and how they have solutions that can possibly address most of the challenges we have in the country. What I can say, maybe as a finishing message, is to encourage the president to trust us as young people with the leadership opportunities and to focus on competitive competences, even though regional and political representation and other factors may come to play.
Pretty much, Maureen Mutai, the immediate former focal point on youth at the Council of Governors. Thank you very much for taking your time this morning to speak to Metropole TV on such a short notice. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Have a day.
To you too, and that's exactly how we end our show this morning, on that high note.